the music, I just kept dropping it. I will always, blend my culture, like, the Afro beats into the Jersey club also, and just try to like maneuver in terms of like being original. And it will just somehow go viral on Facebook, or maybe if it's not viral on Instagram, it's viral on Facebook. If it wasn't viral on Facebook, it was viral on Vine type of thing. So it was always something I was trying to like strategize, team up with different influencers, and just make it happen type of thing.
DJ Flex, how are you, my friend?
What's going on, my guy? I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing great. Getting everything sorted for the holidays.
We got family, we got everybody coming in. I don't know about you, but got family.
We're actually I'm from San Diego, and we moved about almost 3 years ago now to Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
But my sister and my brother-in-law and my sister and her husband, and then my wife's brother and their new baby and his wife and my parents all still live in San Diego, and our family and my wife's parents moved out here to Tennessee with us. But we're all driving to San Diego on Sunday.
I mean, family road trip is kind of interesting. So I mean,
Yeah, it's gonna be me, my wife, our two kids, our dog, and my in-laws driving 4 days to California.
wow, wow, wow. Well, it's something that you guys could share over the holidays, a little experience type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited to see everybody, but I appreciate you taking time to do this. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I got you. No problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is about you and your journey in music, and we'll talk about the new record you put out and everything you have coming up with Sexy.
Okay. Okay.
Sweet. Awesome. Well, first off, I read you're from Jersey, right? Newark, Jersey. But were you born and raised there?
Yes, I was born and raised in New Jersey, in a city called Newark, but I was raised mostly between Newark and East Orange, which is right next to each other. Local,
Okay.
in Orange also. But for the most part, grew up in Newark, grew up in East Orange, lived there my whole life basically. My cultural background though is from Ghana, West Africa. So I kind of had like the best of both worlds, like, the teachings of my parents telling me live like this, eat like this. I basically ate like all African food, no French
Whoa.
fries, no McDonald's until like maybe like middle school. I'll sneak out and go get some type of thing. But yeah.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
you had a few bucks of your own, you go get a burger.
Chores, you get $1 here or two type of thing, go sneak and go get fries or something like that. Yeah.
That's cool, man. Wow. Did you ever go back and visit?
Yes, I did go back and visit like a few years back. It's been a long time though, but it
Okay.
family, definite family. Usually that's what kind of causes everybody to come together type of thing. But
Yeah,
in
100%.
terms of business and enjoyment, haven't been a while since I went for that purpose. Yeah, but
Sure. So your both parents are from Ghana. Did they come here are you the firstborn in the US?
I am the first one. Yeah, both of my parents from Ghana, both raised everything in Ghana. My dad went from Ghana to Canada, then ended up in the United States. And my mom came straight from Ghana to the United States. And they met each other over here. And, I was the first guy that came out.
Oh,
The first
wow.
trip.
That's wild. So they didn't meet in Ghana and then move to the States. It was they met in the States after they had both,
Yeah.
well, dad went to Canada and then the States, and your mom came here or to the States.
With
Wow, that's wild.
yeah. With their families, though, I feel like Ghana's, how like they say the world is small? Like
Yeah.
Ghana, for them, a lot of their friends that they met over here kind of already knew of each other back home. So they went to school with each other and all types of things, like high school, and they meet each other here, and they'll be like, "Oh, you're connected with my friend that I went to high school with." So it was like a lot of similarities that kind of brought them together, like in terms of groups and like people
Yeah.
that they for
Wow.
sure.
That's wild. The world is so small. I mean, to think about both your parents coming all the way from Ghana and then meeting in the United States. Like, I mean, happen to know, backgrounds on each other. Like, that's so wild.
Always question them. I'll be like, "Yo, bro, like, so how is it? Like, how did you first see her? Were you like, oh, she was attractive?" And they just start laughing, and I'm just like, tell me the story. I want to know. You know what I mean? So I think they met here at a restaurant, something like that. So when
That's
I
crazy.
hear the story, I'm like, okay, I get it, because I'm older now, so I kind of get the gist a little bit.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
get
yeah.
this. But then it's like, for me being first generation here, listen to how they grew up. Um, I just feel like I'm definitely connected through that way, and I'm
Uh-huh.
also connected like, just growing up in Newark, seeing the environment as a child, like legit, like walking around the streets, hanging out with friends that come from that culture. So I feel like I have both in the way.
That's awesome. That is awesome. What about music? How did you first get into music?
All right, so for music, you see, it was kind of weird. So music, my interest in music came from me going out with my dad. So
Oh,
my
wow,
dad
okay.
was he was a videographer, very known in like in terms of his city, tri-state area. So he would shoot a lot of like weddings, parties, funerals. Funerals are big in Ghana culture. Like it's kind of like in a
Real to
way like a
film it? Wow.
yeah, to film it, to film it is very like, raw, but like in terms of like how they do it, the stages, of course you got the viewing, which is only for certain people, but then
Sure.
they have like a celebration where like everybody comes together, donate and just kind of like help the burial process type of thing before they do it here or in Ghana, wherever they're doing that. But my dad
Yeah.
had a lot of experience just like moving out through the world, and I would always ask, "Hey, Daddy, can I come with you?" And they'd be like, "Ah, all right, come on, come with me." I carry his bag and help him unload everything, hook it up. And of course, my dad was the video guy, but I was always looking at the DJ like, yo, bro, like these are my two favorite songs, my two favorite African songs. How are you kind of like putting that together? You know what I mean? It
Right.
just became like a science thing for me. Like, how is he doing it? So me being just a kid, I would just go to Google for all the answers. Like, how do you mix two beats together? How do you, like little silly questions, which is just like my first initial, step towards like wanting to know what is this. And yeah, that's really how the interest of like, becoming a musician or becoming an artist or producer kind of just initially started, for sure.
Oh, yeah. I find it fascinating with, your type of music and as far as like more electronic is like you have like if somebody's like a guitar player or drummer or whatever, there's kind of a
Yeah.
different route. It's like you can get lessons or for from somebody. But I feel like I'm sure there are lessons now, but 15, 20 years ago, you would have to probably find stuff online. Like, how do I mix beats together? Like, how do I do this? Because there wasn't really probably a guy down the road that knows how to play guitar and he could show you some chords and knows how to play piano that could just teach you.
Yeah, I mean, I did try to learn from the church because my family was heavy in church.
Okay.
But I think what happened was it's just like scheduling with the drummer because usually everybody's off on Saturdays and Sundays, and it was just like scheduling. So it never really
Right.
went. Like, let's say if you were paying somebody to do it, you're paying for their time. You know,
Mhm.
dealing with people that don't necessarily have. Sometimes they don't have citizenships or anything like that. So it's like the work schedule is always crazy for them, and their only day that they get off is Saturday to relax, Sunday to praise the Lord, and go back into it again type of thing. That's how
Right.
they do it. So I had like maybe like one or two fake drum lessons or something like that. They were trying to teach me how to play the organ, but I never got onto it. The most I've learned ever when it comes to keys or anything was like high school. So we had to take it as a requirement, music class type of thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. So you got to take like a music theory class in high school?
Yeah, I wouldn't put too much emphasis on that, but it was just like,
Okay.
like we were all just being a part of, the classroom, learning the jingle bells or performing in front of like, the school and stuff like that. Little
Okay.
stuff.
Very cool. And as far as like, and it sounds like you're really fascinated by obviously the DJ and how to mix these songs together. And when do you like, do you just start, do you download like Ableton or something on the computer or like how do you kind of start really trying to figure out how that all works?
Yeah, so I would say like at a very young age, I took on to the actual name DJ Flex. When I really figured out how to do it, because I was searching all over. I was
Yeah.
downloading all types of programs. I came by certain names. I wasn't too familiar with the software. I was like, oh, this is too hard. Let me try another software. Eventually, I know I came across virtual DJ, and
Okay.
that's where I kind of like started to understand because I didn't have equipment to like, I was always like seeing the equipment and I would download the pictures from like the internet and put it as my like screensaver. I was just really like overly fascinated about like things that kids do, like, yo, like I like this car, this Ferrari, I'm gonna put it as my screensaver type of
You're right,
things.
100%.
The DJ stuff is my screensaver, my laptop screensaver. So eventually I got into learning how to use virtual DJ, and just creating like my own hot cues and like learning how to remap it, all types of stuff. I was just doing a lot of like things that I know would make my job easier,
Uh-huh.
DJing from the laptop. So I started off DJing from the laptop. Ended up eventually, I learned how to jailbreak iPhones and do all types of cool stuff, like customize them. So I had like different back, I think it was like iPhone 4 at the time, like different colors of the back. So I'll tell people I could customize the back of your phone for like, $10, $20, and they'll give it to me. I'll change it. I'll fix people's screens, but I'll tell them fair warning. Listen, if I break your phone, hey, I don't have no control over this. I would prepare my own screen, but I can do it for you too for like $30 instead of you paying $100 for it. So then eventually doing a lot of those gathered me up some cash. I got enough money, went to my dad, I was like, yo, bro, like I need this new mark mix stick. I need it. It's like $107. Can I give you the money you put in your car? He's like, where did you get this money from? I was like, yeah, I just drove with a couple of phones and stuff like that. He's looking at me laughing like, all right, I'll do it. So that was really like my initial like first start, like just messing around with the iPhones, fixing like computers here and there, and just trying to gather up some money and just, buy my first controller type of thing.
Wow. And then so you get the controller and it was just like, okay, now I'm gonna really.
How I could really like, of course I'm gonna still continue my little, my school side hustle thing.
Oh,
Other
of
people
course.
tax and all this other stuff. I felt like I couldn't get in trouble because you'll get in trouble for selling candy, obviously. But if you were jailbreaking iPhones, who would
Yeah, you're
know?
like, I'm just
My
fixing somebody's
laptop,
phone.
yeah, 2 seconds. It's 2 seconds. Do it for them. That's it.
Oh, that's so funny. And then this was in high school, you say?
Yes, that's high school, early, like in middle school, going to high school for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And once you get the controller, do you start like, trying to hit up friends that are having like parties and stuff to see if you can DJ them? Or like when did you start
Yeah,
doing
I
that?
did a lot of house parties. Those are my favorites. So I did a lot of house parties. I did a couple of venues too with that same Newmark mix deck. Eventually,
Oh.
what I had to do was I knew I was going to upgrade. So what I did was I bought a bigger case for the mix deck, but inside of it was a Newmark. It's a regular Newmark mix deck, but people would look at it in a way like, oh damn, the setup is so professional. But when they come behind, it's like, what's that? You know what I mean?
Oh,
But
you just had the little thing
yeah,
in there.
well, I mean, I think it worked for the time being. It
Well,
made
100%.
Yeah, it made sense, and I eventually upgraded to a what was it, SX, something like that. So like it
Okay.
was just like just grinding, doing a couple of gigs here, Sweet 16s, couple of maybe like a teenage party club type of thing that we could do. Like we'll like the promoters and they'll allow us to use the venue. So then we'll sell the tickets through like Eventbrite or through the streets. We'll just send people out to like go to different high schools at the end of the day and sell them for $10. $10 a ticket, $5 a ticket, early bird type of thing. Ladies in for free for 9 type of thing. Yeah,
Okay.
just do like the marketing type of thing. We saw it happening, like the older guys were doing it, so we just took onto it and did it ourselves.
Yeah. And you have to kind of like, I mean, when it comes to DJing, you really have to make a name for yourself, right? To get people to be like, oh, we want to get DJ Flex because he plays the best music or whatever for this party.
Yes.
Instead of being like, if you were in a band or whatever, then it's okay. We know this band's sound, like we can put them on the bill with these people. With I feel like with DJing, you have like a significant. It's a different role. I mean, you have to keep the party going. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like you got to feel the crowd out, and like you play a record that starts to flop, or people are going to get a drink, then it's like, okay, I got to change this
Yeah.
up.
So it's like you are reading the energy, but what really benefited me in that situation was being able to make the music. Like creating the bootlegs that was like the hottest in the city, like in a way where it was just like, yo, because a lot of the teams were like dancers and the
Mhm.
people that were involved were like promoters, dance crews, and just DJs or like musicians in a way. So any DJ that came that played at the party had a catalog of music that kind of maybe was circling around, maybe popular in Newark, but not too popular in East Orange or something like that, or popular all over statewide. So that was my like thing. I always made a lot of partnerships with like dancers. I would always tell them like, hey, if you guys come to this party, I get all y'all in for free plus 5 more people. Just making like deals where I know like, yo, these guys are the like it's like a circus. Like these guys are gonna entertain for sure. Play the music, they're gonna get it going. and people are gonna like get influenced by the most popular dancers, in the city type of thing. So that was the idea I had behind it, just kind of like making it like a movement together. Because without anybody on your side, you kind of just like YOLO. You know what I mean? So
Right.
you
Oh,
gotta
wow,
take.
that's really fascinating. I've never heard. I've had a number of people in this genre on, and I've never heard anyone talk about that. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
that's brilliant to get. You're going to bring people that are the best dancers, so there's going to be people actually moving along to the songs, and they're going to be really good, right? And then it's going to influence like, oh wow, damn, like yeah, okay, I'll get out there.
yep,
And
yep,
then it's just the parties, just like you said, off the energy of
right.
that, then you're going to build the room.
Yep, especially because we just called it like hosting. Like, we'll give you the chance to host a party. Like, if you come through with your team can host this event. And on top of it, it's attached to a DJ that may have the most viral pop locking song that's going on in Jersey Club right now, or the most viral booty bounce song that's going on in Jersey Club. So it's like it was always a mutual two-way street type of thing. We always help each other in that fashion.
Yeah. And when do you start like putting your own songs together and putting those out? Were you making your own songs at that point? I guess I'm kind of confused in the genre when it comes to like you'll get a song from an artist or a bootleg of a song and then you'll remix it in a way that people will be like, "Oh damn, like I want to go hear this remix."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that was really
Okay.
the initial agenda in the very beginning. Like, I would definitely have the mind of listening to like maybe my most memorable remix was DJ Khaled Up On. And that was like the first time I received 100 downloads on SoundCloud. And I was like, yes.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? Like, because it was like, for me, it was just like, I was able to flip it in such a way where people really bought onto it. So being able to get 100 downloads at the time was very like dude,
Oh
it's
yeah, it's massive.
I mean, yeah, like it's mind blowing. Even getting 100 plays was like a thing, but now it's just like as I reached these like little goals for myself, I looked at it on a bigger scale every single time. So locally, I knew that when I dropped, people were definitely listening. The dancers probably automatically took on to the song because they probably seen the most popular dancer Tommy or whoever like catch on to it before they caught on to it. So I just became a household name in the Jersey club field. Like, and it was just like, yo, I'm listening to this guy's remixes because it's creative. He adds the gunshots where I want him to be, where I can take a break or something like that. I was always thinking of like, how can I construct this in a way where anybody can dance to it, from the professionals to the people that's just trying to get into it type of thing. And
Yeah.
it's really
I
like,
love that you like really break down the song. I mean, it sounds like you did that from the very beginning. It was like, what's the science behind this? Like, how do
yeah,
I
yeah,
mix
yeah,
these
yeah,
two
yeah.
songs together? Right. There's like this like logical like mindset. It's
It's
almost like
crazy.
an
Like I
equation to it.
always ask myself, like, yo, bro, how did you get here? And I'm like, yo, it's definitely like, the logical, scientific, approach to it. But it's like at the same time, I felt like sometimes a little bit of doubt. People definitely didn't see where I was coming from
Uh-huh.
in terms of like how I wanted to build the sound or what I wanted to do with Jersey Club. So when I did it, I always made sure, like, this is a flex beat, like for sure. Like, I add my tag, I'll add like my notorious type of breakdowns where I knew I had my own sound where nobody couldn't really like take it. You know what I mean? So
Right.
yeah, that was
They
that was
knew that it was you. It wasn't like a question.
yep, yep. And they knew where to go. Everything was on SoundCloud. That was where all the remixes were at. YouTube then became a thing later on when SoundCloud started like blocking it because copyright and everything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Songs got that big. Like before, I never had that problem because it was like a city thing. But once it started going from a city thing to like a New Jersey and New York, and everybody's kind of like tapping into the sound a little bit, it definitely became like I will upload a song, go to sleep, wake up, the song is gone, copyrighted by the label. But it was okay though because I felt like I'm being heard, I'm being
Yeah,
seen.
people are noticing,
Yeah,
right?
like it was dope. At first, I was like, "Well, wait, what?" I asked them like, "Who sent the copyright?" They was like, "Someone from Sony." I'm like, "Really?"
You're like,
I,
damn, they know who I
yeah,
am.
yeah, yeah, type of thing. It was just, it was an experience though, for sure.
Wow. And
Yeah.
when do you like, I mean, it sounds like it built, went to your town and then to Jersey and then to New York. And like, is this like slowly building over years? And like when what would you say kind of like the next like moment was? I mean, it sounds like, getting 100 downloads was huge,
Yeah.
right? And then it's like,
Yeah.
when's the next moment? Like, okay, this is really working. Like this is definitely something that
You know,
I can't stop. I need to do this
I
forever.
think it was just like small, settled moments that like sometimes it's not necessarily the numbers. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't the
Right.
numbers too much. It was just like for me when I was doing it, my parents weren't 100% on board with me focusing on music. It was always Junior, focus on your books.
Oh,
Go to,
yeah. I
like
bet,
it was
right?
very like I felt it early on, and then as I even got into it and went to college, I felt it even more because I tried to make a decision of like going the music route, for college and stuff. And it's like, no, I'm not gonna give you my tax returns and all this stuff for you to go do this and this and that. But like, early on as I was growing into like, my young adult stage, I made a lot of music that was even geared towards like the college crowd. So like a lot of my music that I make is always geared towards a crowd. And I was just, kind of not like fiending to understand the college crowd, but I wanted my music to reach that level where like this young dude is catching the viral tracks and they're being played in the 18 plus parties. You know what I mean? It wasn't nothing about like 17 below. So I remember I think it was Hurricane Sandy, and
Okay. Yeah,
we were
yeah.
all in line, and I was in the holding the gas tank with my dad. I think everybody was in line, trying to get gas. Out of nowhere, I see these college students pull up in their car. I don't know what car it was, but there was a mix from a DJ called DJ Cali Cal, which was like the big college DJ out in our area. He worked with a
Mhm.
lot of DJs from Hot 97, just like really exposed into the college field. And I heard them bumping my song, that part of the mix, and they played it back again because they were like just turning up, and I'm just like, yo, daddy, that's my song right there. He's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And I was just looking at them, and I'm like, yo, they having fun. Like, this is crazy. Like, this was like, those were the things that just kept me like, go, keep going. Like, you're doing the right thing. All the signs of the world, like the algorithm of the world is just showing you that whatever you're doing is like, it's good. It's working for these 5 people right here turning up at the gas station. So,
Yeah,
wherever,
that's amazing.
yeah, that's how I
Right?
look at
You're happen to be there. It's like if you heard your song on the radio for the first time, like, oh my
word,
gosh, like this is crazy.
word, word. So even stuff like that, hearing like remixes on the radio for the first time, like my mom's in the car, I'm like, yo, this is my song I did to, this
That's
remix,
so
right? I
cool.
sent it to this DJ and they playing it, and they're like, oh wow, like very fascinated about it, but still, on the I like this, but focus on this type of thing. That's how it was for me. But I definitely took onto it, for me, personal goals locally, internationally. Definitely saw people like, dancing in different countries that I never heard of before, never been
Yeah,
to.
that's crazy. Yeah, especially with the internet, right? You go on and
Yes,
there's a
yes,
country you've never been to, and your song could be like massive there, right? I
yes,
mean, it's
yes.
crazy.
It was always like a thing for me. Like I want to see people dance. I want to see people have fun. And the music, I just kept dropping it. I will always, blend my culture, like the Afro beats into the Jersey club also, and just try to like maneuver in terms of like being original. And it will just somehow go viral on Facebook, or maybe if it's not viral on Instagram, it's viral on Facebook. If it wasn't viral on Facebook, it was viral on Vine type of thing. So it was always something I was trying to like strategize, team up with different influencers, and just make it happen type of thing.
Okay, it's yeah, because you have a massive following on the internet. I
Yeah,
mean, like your YouTube is crazy subscribers, your Instagram, and was that must have been a big part of getting your name out there, right? It's just having
yeah,
people online sharing what you're doing.
yeah. I definitely used to like do a lot of. I know when I had the attention, I would definitely make it a trade off sometimes. There's this
Hmm.
thing where it's like, yo, if you want to download this song now, follow me. You have to follow me in order to download the song. So I was doing a lot of that, like where people would download the song, they subscribe to me first and follow me on SoundCloud. Then they got a free copy of the bootleg remix that I did, type of thing. So that was a lot of,
That's
um,
smart.
yeah. I mean, it was just things I had to do to like, make sure I gained the audience. And when people see numbers, obviously they automatically go on board with whatever you got going on. You know what I mean? So, but I
Yeah,
was
it has this sense of like legitimate,
there. You
it's a legit, you're legit, but not only that, but it's like, oh, well, everyone else, like all these people think
yeah,
like this. Not that it's not good, because you can get that. Like people will come there and then be like, oh, unsubscribe or,
yeah,
or whatever. It's like when people have the viral song on TikTok, there's either a lot of people that will go leave the app, go to Spotify, stream the song,
Mhm.
but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to listen to anything else that you've ever done. And like your numbers are all,
Yeah,
7 million, 2 million, 5, you know what I mean? It's
I can
not
only
like,
think, I don't know, I can only thank the Lord Himself for just even just allowing me to think the way I was thinking, because I will always be like, yo, I want Valley Funk in this. Nah, I don't want Valley Funk in this one. I want pure Afro beats, but like Afro turned up vibes, like it's something called leg work, like leg work energy, like just up and going, like it doesn't even stop. And I'll also like sometimes I'm with the timing of the song, like a minute and maybe 40 seconds will give it replay value. Stuff like that was just kind of like my like go-to and like how I felt like I've been doing it throughout the years, just kind of like adding more knowledge to it as I've like seen it happening. It wasn't hard to get $100 no more. I just definitely would just blast people on Facebook. I had like 4,000 friends cursing me out on Facebook every night after homework, stuff like that. Yeah, it was a crazy time, but it was fun though.
yeah. I watched your Boiler Room set on YouTube. That was really cool.
Oh yeah, that was dope too. That was
I mean,
dope.
that was a handful of years ago. I think it was like
Yeah,
5 or 6 years ago.
yes, it was. Yep, yep. That was like
That's
my first time in LA. And then
Oh,
on top
really?
of that, what I mean, this is where I feel like the music has its value because it can show you so much more than what you see with your own eyes and what I've been waking up to every single morning. Certain people on the block, certain people, talking to me, certain type of influences. You know what I mean? So I just became my own person. I just went out there. I took a leap on my own, faith, and just was like. At first, it was definitely something that I was looking into as like a little bit like, oh shoot, like this is a little bit like something new, something nerve wracking. But when I got there, legit, everybody loved my energy. I loved how, I just, came to do the job. I was focused. They wanted me to do more things. And I just felt like real good just being in that environment and being able to take my sound of like what I was doing on the computer to now in front of people in LA. We grew and we turning up in the backyard, you know what I mean? So that's what it was dope. It was definitely dope.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I love that. I watched the whole thing. It's really cool. Like just like the vibe of the whole thing. And
Thank you.
you just on the working like all the buttons. Like, see, I'm so ignorant to like how it all works.
Yeah, I
But it's
mean,
like so cool. I love watching it, and like I've seen a lot of big DJs, and like it it's it blows my mind, and it's just so cool to just having that, you know,
yeah.
the tech of being up there and doing
Yeah,
all.
it's practice, man. Because like sometimes you have to sit there for like what they don't show you. Excuse me, is when they sit there for like maybe like an whole day, practicing just for fun. It was just one of
Mhm.
those things where like I would practice and practice and practice and practice for hours. Because that was like my only single focus on just like trying to become the best mixer, the best transitions that people never heard before. I had the best sirens, anything that just kind of made it more fun. I used to have the I used to have the bruh button on my effect pad, just to be like, kind of like in the young generation, and also just kind of keeping it professional too. So like it was
Yeah.
just like fun. You had the control type of thing. You control the crowd. You control how they move with the percussions and all those type of different things that just came into play.
Yeah. I mean, I was on the terrestrial radio for a lot of years on program stations and stuff. And in San Diego, it was like I loved like, the figuring out the how the order of the songs are gonna go. And then like you said, like mixing the next, how
Yeah,
is this tail of this song gonna go into the next one? Or do you need to put a piece of production there to split it up?
yeah,
But I did radio in San Francisco and San Diego, and those are two totally different markets. And I
yeah,
know as a DJ, you're going all over the world and all over the country, and you must have to really, if you're in Atlanta versus in Jersey versus in LA, you probably have to cater your set list a little bit different to each crowd, right?
that is very much true. I feel like although I did know that like everybody had a different sound, like I feel like there is a way to bring everyone together. All you
Mm,
have to do is take that one thing that everybody can share. Like, I heard these type of class before. I know this is like this type of flow, but it brings at least two cultures together. If you got
yeah.
Dembao, although it's kind of like in the a little bit on this side, and they pertain more to like maybe the Dominicans or something like that. But Valley Funk kind of has the same type of elements where we could mix it together. It's just about how you do it, what I mean, and how
Mhm.
you catch everybody's attention type of thing. So that was my like, on that set, that was like something I was trying to do, like just really cater to the crowd and just understand, like, oh, they're rocking with this out here. I'll talk to other DJs also, with my
Mhm.
friends or like other influencers that were in the area, study their type of music, study the style of music that they're dancing to, and just make it happen. That's really
Yeah.
it. Yep.
Very, very cool. I'm sorry to hear about your dad. I did read your bio, and so it sounds like, I mean, I don't know if you mind talking about it. Like your father had a stroke, and you kind of have you you took care of him, right? So did you
Yeah.
put music to the side, or were you using that time to like just put your like when you weren't, when you weren't with him, you were what, creating music and just putting up online, and is that where you're building your internet presence, or can
But
you
like
tell me
at
about
that,
that time?
yeah, at that very time was a very confusing time. When that happened, I didn't really know like the magnitude of like this, him being disabled. The
Yeah.
guy that's really running everything in the house, that's doing everything, that's providing for us. Like,
He's
I was
working 2 jobs, right? I mean, doing
oh
so
yeah,
much.
yeah. Like he was never like at times he was really never home because he was like, if he come home, you probably think he's out, but he's in the room trying to catch some sleep 4 hours and then get back up, take us to school. You know what I mean? So at that time, I definitely continued to like just use all the knowledge I knew how, in terms of making money. I was
Mhm.
working a job at Funplex in New Jersey, East Rutherford. It's like indoor amusement park. I was
Oh, cool.
doing that to work and just try to help assist with the bills in the house
100%.
while I was also in high school and going to college.
Oh, wow.
Definitely doing a lot of gigs. Every Friday, Saturday, Sunday was definitely packed up. I was younger at the time, so he even had to put a wristband on me to show like, hey, no alcohol for this guy right here, type of
Yeah.
thing. I was definitely just on the road, like trying to like make it make sense, because I didn't want to like let my family feel like everything was gonna go down because he wasn't in power. I was definitely still in school, went to college, did everything. I made sure that my dad was clean. Like it was like in a way taking care of a kid. I know my dad did it for me, but it was like
Yeah.
I had to make sure he was groomed, shaved all over, things. Just real personal, but like, it was really like an eye opener for me. And I also wanted to show my appreciation to my dad for just everything that he provided for me, just growing to whatever age he was able to take care of me too. And
Mhm.
I made it happen. I just had to hustle in a way, put the grind in, and that's when I really just took focus on like uploading my music onto Spotify and Apple Music. That's when I kind of took that leap of faith to get the music on the streaming platform so it could just be more like consistent
Mm,
versus
sure.
dealing with personalities and people that promise you, hey, I'm going to pay you this day and this didn't pay, so now you're dealing with X, Y, and Z type of thing. I actually got into a bad car accident, and that's what kind of kicked it off because I didn't have no car to go to work.
Oh
So
my gosh.
yeah, so I was definitely after dropping my sister, because I had to drop my brother and sister off at school.
Yeah.
Dropped them off at school, and it wasn't my fault. Someone crossed the red light. Whatever accidents happened, lost the car, totaled it. Then I had no car, in a way jobless. You know what I'm saying? Like for a little bit, I was doing the Ubering thing, and my friends were taking me, but it was just too much confusion. So I just kind of like had viral songs out there already, and I just had to make it work. In any way I could to just get the content ID from it or get the music going on Spotify, hitting up certain people, leveraging whatever money I had to like pay influencers to make it happen on these social platforms and just make it work. And then I had songs just going. The YouTube was going, the streaming was going, so it just eventually all caught up with me, and I was able to like maintain going to school. I got my bachelor's in business admin,
Wow.
concentration in IT, taking care of my dad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Also, like just handling things in the house. And like, I became the dad in a way. So
Yeah. Oh
that's
my
just really
gosh.
true. Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, and then COVID happens, and it just
Yes.
gets worse from there. But and we're during that time where you just it was that, because it sounds like you were ahead of kind of that internet boom in a way where you kind of already had something going on online and on social media before everyone was stuck inside trying to do what you had already kind of built for yourself.
Yeah, because I felt like, especially with like where TikTok is now today, I had a lot of friends that thought musically was corny. I'm like, yo, bro, you're bugging. Like, yo, this is it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was kind of weird. It was like they were doing all of the fast motion stuff, but I felt like that was the next thing, like short form content. Like, it was only like
Yeah.
4 seconds. Like, all you need was 15 seconds of the best part of the song to go viral musically, and you were good. You know what I mean? Like, pretty much everybody would be looking for the song, and if you had it on one place on your YouTube channel, and you put at the end, I have some of my YouTube channel videos to check. Subscribe to my channel.
Yeah, yeah. It's
So
brilliant.
yeah,
I mean, all the biggest YouTubers still do that have like
yeah.
10 million followers or whatever.
So that's what I was really doing, just kind of like working the internet the same way how I was working like, relationships in local areas. I just kind of took it to the internet, meshed with certain influences. So as they grew, I still had that tie in with them. At least when I sent to their email, there was a roll of a dice where I probably would get picked to, for their next content piece type of thing.
Yeah.
Create a dope
Wow.
channel that everybody else will follow to. And it would just probably go on a bigger scale. And of course, music is like once you know the song, they're gonna keep coming back. You know what
Yep.
I mean? I love that. It was just like it was dope to just see, my whole plan, what I thought in my head kind of come out into reality.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like you were doing things and people were like, I don't know if this is gonna work. And you're like, trust
Yeah, I
me,
heard a
just
lot of that.
watch. You know,
I heard a lot of
just
that.
wait.
Definitely.
um, and so I want to talk to you before I let you go. I want to talk to you about this new song that you just put out.
Oh yeah,
Sexy.
sexy. Yeah, sexy
I
is
love it,
a
man.
vibe.
I was
Yeah,
just listening to it this morning.
thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, sexy is a vibe. Like I feel like sexy, just like as I grew from making the remixes and having that bootleg type of mindset to kind of bringing it to a very original, no problems, no takedowns, no copyrights type of thing. It was just like it was big for me personally because I just had to learn how to do it, and the learning process is really what I really cherish the most. The creative process is very much different for every step of the way. Like when I used to make beats for artists, and I would wonder like, yo, why did no one take this beat and they took this beat? It's just sometimes it's a feeling that you provided to this production that made them feel a way to then lay the vocals on top of. So, when I heard sexy, I knew sexy was definitely giving me like that DJ Flex remixing type of vibe. And I liked it. It was a beat, it was for the parties. I knew people as soon as you hit the play button on that, your head is definitely on Bob. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the vibe. You can't
100%.
deny the energy. It's high frequency. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
when I wrote the lyrics out, I definitely was focused more on the cadence and how I can deliver it in a way where it's not like I'm just trying to go da 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 da, like like
Mhm.
push that type of thing, but just give it a flow where people could bob to. It still sits in the Afro lane, and it adds a little bit of like of like my influences, like a Jack U, Diplo type of filter with the voice edits and things like that. That just kind of make me feel like yes, I like this. It gives me butterflies in my stomach when I hear it every single time. So yeah, that was my vibe and my goal for sure.
Awesome. Are you gonna do more music as far as your own stuff like that, or like you're
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
try to put together an EP or like an album or
I have an album coming early 2024. It's a,
wow.
yeah, it's a collective of songs and it's all lyrics. It's definitely another step of just creativeness that I've just brought to the table in terms of like understanding the music and seeing how people react to music in the crowd. So I just kind of took that understanding and just brought it into words. I'm just trying to give people the energy, talk to their inner self, their alter ego. Something that people don't want to say out their mouth. They may not feel like they want to say I'm sexy, but hey, the song is telling you sexy girl, do your thing, turn up, I mean, party a little bit, get a couple shots or whatever. And there's some songs that kind of give a little bit of a story, maybe if it's just like, relatable relationship stuff or just love. Like I have another song called Odo, where it's just like when the breakdown comes, you feel like, man, I feel love, you know what I'm saying? If you're with your partner, you dancing, you move that type of thing. So I always try to like give that feeling because I've seen the remixes at people's weddings, people's sweet 16. So it's just like, you know what? I'm able to channel it in that way and make it so original to me in that way. I know I can do it with the lyrics. So that's my project that's coming now, 2024, early 2024. Album is dropping, and it's gonna be amazing. It's just very special to me for sure. My first album, you know what I mean? So I'm definitely excited for that.
That is awesome. Well, I love the first one that you've put out, so I'm imagining the rest of the record is going to be amazing too. And I appreciate your time. Thank you so much, Flex,
Now,
for doing
yeah, I
this
wish
today.
you could stay longer. I'm really, I like your energy. I respect it. Thank you so much for, just allowing me to do this too. I appreciate it.
Oh no, this has been awesome, and I hope you have a fantastic holiday and New Year. And I'm stoked for your album. And I have one more question for you before I let you go. I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
Okay, so advice for aspiring artists. I would say, and don't get me wrong here, what I mean, I definitely say follow what you feel, what I mean, follow your gut, and also understand that, while you're going through this path, you may see it as like, yo, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Allow yourself to creatively and like just mentally roam the world and see it for what it is. You know what I mean? Don't get too trapped in your viral song or your ego or whatever. Just like kind of look at the world for what it is, pace yourself, and always go with the times, but keep your original concept of who you are. Don't feel like because everybody else is doing this, that you have to go around and do that. You know what I mean? Just definitely stick to your sound, believe in the sound. Somebody's gonna listen to you. If you receive one play ever in your life, that one play is gonna be 1 billion plays one day. If you just keep pushing and keep going. It's the truth. I've seen the feeling of having 100 plays, then I could close my eyes and get 1 million plays. Thank God, you know what I mean? Type of thing. It's just like, just keep pushing forward, keep going, and just believe in yourself. If no one believes in you, you believe in yourself, type of thing. That's really it. That's my word of advice.